Great way to start, joined by Eddie Hearn here at the O2 Arena. How do you sum up what we've just seen? What a fight.
Incredible fight. I mean, look, it was a fight, of course, billed the Battle of Croydon and Crystal Palace, but it was a world-class fight. You know, two guys that proved they're good enough to be world champions. That was a fight worthy of being for a world championship. And, you know, both guys, so much heart, so much grit, great engine, great conditioning, great chins, and very close fight. I had it 115, 113, Joshua Buatsi, and both men should be very proud.
Ultimately, what do you think separated the pair of them in there tonight?
Just probably a little bit of quality on the inside and maybe a little bit of accuracy and work rate. But, you know, Spider had a great 8th, and I feel like he needed to kick on in the 9th and 10th, but didn't. And he had a good 11th and 12th. But I just felt like Buatsi racked up enough rounds. But very close fight, very competitive. You know, Buatsi looked tired a couple of times. Richards came on, and Josh came back when he was hurt sometimes. And big respect to both.
We've worked, of course, with both guys. In terms of their stocks, has neither man's gone down tonight?
No, I mean, both men, even in defeat, and this is what fighters have got to understand in great fights, that your stock goes up in defeat. And Craig Richards was a big night for his career tonight. He might not be feeling it at the moment, but, you know, he'll be back. Listen, maybe even a rematch if things don't work out with Dimitri Bivol. But I think, interestingly, it's just a big night for both, winner and loser. And Joshua Buatsi, I don't feel like there's any levels between Craig Richards and the world champions. I feel like, you know, there's nowhere else to go for Buatsi other than fighting for a world title, but we'll have to wait and see.
That question's always been, how good is Joshua Buatsi? Gone 12 rounds for the first time tonight in his career, won a good competitive fight like that. Do you think he's ticked a few boxes?
Oh, we always knew Joshua Buatsi was a great fighter. You know, you've got to come through a little bit of adversity. You've got to sometimes come through the tough moments in the fight. You've got to show your conditioning and chin and heart, which we've always felt he had, but that was the first time he really had to show it. And you know, he showed it in abundance. And as I said, both men, absolute warriors. You
mentioned Dimitri Bivol. What can you tell us about the latest with the Canelo situation, and whether we could see that fight with JB next?
Well, I spoke to Canelo yesterday, actually did. But and we're talking on Monday to see what's next. Look, we know that the Triple G fight is there for undisputed. It's the trilogy. It's probably the only time the chance we've got to make that fight. But he's desperate to fight Dimitri Bivol, and I think he'll only fight Triple G if he fights Dimitri Bivol after that. So we'll talk to him on Monday, and we'll look to make a decision next week.
JB said he's not hanging around. He's going straight back to the States to restart camp. So if it's not Bivol,
he should have a few weeks off. He should have a few weeks off. Look, the Richards rematch is a great fight as well. You got Callum Smith. I know he's looking for a world title. That's a great fight. Anthony Yard might all of a sudden fancy that fight with Buatsi now, but you know, big night for him. Little rest and go again.
Let's just talk about a few other fights on the card. Chantel Cameron, pretty dominant tonight.
Yeah, Chantel Cameron, you know, waiting for that big undisputed fight. Won every round against a tough Bustos. Alen Babic, just incredible. You know, a tough fight against Bowski. He's a very good fighter. Ellie Scottney, I thought, was fantastic tonight. I feel like she's ready for a world championship. Robbie Davis, I thought, nicked the fight. You know, I thought he did enough. I thought he worked hard enough to win that fight. Good wins for Chev. Good stoppage win after a bit of a wild start. And then good knockout win by John Hedges. Good win for Cyrus Patterson. And Charlo de Freitas looked really good. He's a great young prospect.
Alan made it no secret who he wants next. Oscar Rivas.
Yeah, it's a world championship Bridgerweight fight. And look, Rivas is a level above Bowski, but you know what Alan sometimes lacks in a little bit of skill, he makes up with in abundance with heart and work rate, and you know, he's a handful for anyone. I'm really pleased for him. It was a big night for his career tonight.
We've got a couple of weeks before we, of course, lead into June 4th, but what a run. I mean, how would you sum up the last couple of months?
Oh, incredible. You know, going back to MSG, to Canelo, to Milan, to Bilbao last night, to the O2. Can't believe we got next weekend off.
Can I have a day off?
I'm actually quite depressed. No, absolutely not. You don't do anything anyway. You just swan around, like, and now you think you're big time. And where are we? Cardiff. Get your tickets for Cardiff. Joe Caldina against Agawa. Incredible fight. And then we're off to Mexico, June 10th. Then we're June 25th. We've got a World Championship triple header. Then we'll announce our July 9th show here very soon. And, of course, Canelo Alvarez, Anthony Joshua to be announced, non-stop.
For those who don't know a lot about Kenichi Agawa, how tough is this fight?
It's a great fight. Agawa against Bermudez. Agawa against Cordina. I'm thinking about Kawaguchi. And Agawa is a very, very tough fight for Joe Caldina. Joe Caldina, the reality is, has never boxed at world level, really. Right? He's a world-class fighter, but he's going to have to show that against Agawa because he's very, very tough, Agawa. He punches very hard. But I believe Joe Cordina can do it and become world champion June 4th.
Eddie, can't wait. Thanks for your
Thank
time.
you. Cheers.